the shadow was falling on people, and people were being healed, and he still could not avoid from being put in jail. Yeah. That shows us the vulnerability of us as people. We can function on this side, we can be strong in one area, in the other area, we weak. You know, the people were jealous because he had preached on the day of Pentecost. You know they did have 11 other disciples, Brother Sandy. And they all was ambitious because James and John came and asked Jesus that my brother said, one sat on this side and the other sat on that side. And they didn't like Peter being appointed to preach the initial message. And you know, ambition had to exist in the heart of the disciples. They wanted to know, why would you use Peter? For Peter was a liar. But God used him. Peter was a cursing man, but God used him. Peter would talk all out of a turn in his mouth. He would say all bad things about him, but God used him. Peter was out of control and always making waves, but God used him. It is amazing that you don't have to be, or don't have to have every T crossed and every I dotted in order for God to use you. See, Peter told her tonight, but God doesn't use you, I'm here to tell you today, because of you. God uses you because of his purpose. God uses you because he has a purpose in mind. And the miracles of the early church, and if you will, accomplish his purpose. God can use anybody that he wants, Sister Curtis. God can use a whore. God can use a prostitute. God can use a streetwalker to accomplish his purpose. He can use an unbeliever. He can use an idolatrous person. Only religious people, let me say that again. Only religious people who have a high criteria as to who can be used in the church. When God get ready to use you or get ready to get his job done, he can take a jawbone of an ass and get his job done. God can use anybody. God can open the mouth of a donkey in order to preach his word. He can use anybody that he wants in the midst of all the confusion and all the chaos. The apostles, God can use you. It's just the church that has this high standard. You understand what I'm saying, Brother Robert? You know he used to drink. You know he's a womanizer, and we can't use him. But God can use anybody to get his purpose done. It's not because of you. It's because he's doing his purpose. You know that at this time, God can use anybody. The apostles was in the midst of confusion. The apostles' blood began to run down the street because King Herod Agrippa had just slaughtered James. The church had gone into prayer. Y'all don't hear me. When they started to destroy the leadership of the church went into prayer. They didn't go seeking a lawyer. They didn't go seeking somebody else. They went into prayer. The head of the church was in jail. Peter, they went into aggressive faith, spiritual warfare. They ceased neither day or night to give prayer for the apostle Peter. I want you to understand that they prayed day and night for the Apostle Peter. You know our leader and our pastor is in jail, and we need to pray for him. We don't need to ask what he's in there for. He must have did something wrong, but it says that in the early church, they prayed for him to deliver him out of jail. They didn't say that he should have did this and he should have did that, but they prayed for him. Night and day, they had aggressive faith. They went into a spiritual warfare. They prayed day and night to give prayer for the Apostle Peter. We don't come to church if it's raining. Y'all don't hear me? If it clouds up and it rains in North Houston, then this area won't show up for church. We don't care who's preaching. They were nobody preaching. The big name preacher was in jail. But the church still came to pray. He didn't have, this wasn't a prayer ministry that came to the church to pray. It says that the church came to pray. Brother Samuel, they didn't have an organ. They didn't have a drum set. They didn't have a building to worship in, but they still came to pray. They still came down on these. Y'all don't hear me. They did not have the choir or the ministry to get the church's hearts and minds up. They came to prayer. To pray because they were in trouble. The reason why we are not seeing the reason why we are not seeing the miracle of the early church, we're not doing the prayer of the early church. You'll never see miracles of the early church as long as you live in your conveniences. See, we come to church and we have our suits on, we have our air conditioning on, we got our fans blowing, we got our luscious pews. It's because the church wants to be entertained. Y'all don't hear me. They didn't come here to hear the word of God. They came to be entertained. And it's not because God has lost his power. You don't see him moving and filling this church up. It's that the church has lost its focus. We lost our priorities. We lost the reason why we come to God's house. We come that we might lift one another up. You can't hardly get people to come to church unless they got a big name preacher on. Y'all don't hear me. You can't get the church to come to church no more. Half come on second and fourth Sunday, half come on first and third Sunday. If they would come. The early church was on their knees. And the only preacher that was out there on that sign there was Jesus. The only big name preacher that they had was Jesus. Can you imagine calling a prayer meeting and nobody speaking? And the church being packed? You can't hardly get the church packed when you do have a big time preacher. Because Christians today has not been taught for warfare, but trained for entertainment. And if they don't get entertainment, they don't have their focus. They lose their focus. Y'all don't hear me. I didn't see them. They done left here in Grove going over to praise the fountain because James Fowler's portion or one of the other big names is going over there. Or they got a lot of men, they got a lot of women over there. They want to be entertained. They're not seeking salvation. They are not seeking strength. They are not seeking deliverance. They are not seeking healing. The reason why we are in the predicament we're in now is because the church has lost their focus. which should be Jesus Christ.